Today we're going to take a look at this Wesson Vigil, which is obviously a 1911. It's in 45 ACP. Back when I did my video on the Remington R1 Enhanced, which belongs to my cousin, I just had this idea, this feeling, this urge that it would be so cool to suppress that 1911. I partially have to blame Call of Duty Cold War for this because during your covert operations, you're given a suppressed 1911, and obviously you've run a lot of the game with some sort of an MP5, and I love both those guns. So you have these old school classics, and I've never actually gotten to shoot a suppressed 1911. You have manufacturers like Kimber that keep trying to make guns like the 1911 look a little edgy, and I'd really just prefer a classic look when it comes to a gun like this. So when I saw this Wesson Vigil pop up on the used market and it had a factory threaded barrel, I didn't even know that Wesson had a factory threaded barrel. So that was a huge selling point because I was expecting that I was going to have to buy like a T-Sauce. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but Turkish made threaded barrel and drop it into whatever 1911 I end up purchasing. I will say I was specifically looking for a Wesson. I'm not a 1911 expert, but I do think that Wesson really just hits a sweet spot for me. There's nothing wrong with guns like T-Sauce. Then you step up to kind of the CZ made Colts. You can usually get those for a little under $1,000. I'm not a big Springfield Armory guy, and you know, eventually you step up into the $2,000+ range. So if you're looking for something anywhere in between $1,000 and $2,000, it seems like there's really not a whole lot of options out there. And if you're looking at new Wesson, they do tend to fall between that $1,500, $2,000 mark. So this used, I paid around $1,100 for this gun, which is an insane deal in my opinion for a all-US gun with a factory threaded barrel. It's very, very nice. This barrel bushing was originally chrome. They had that refinished, so everything is just kind of blacked out. I do love the classic looks of this Vigil. Wesson also has a model called the Specialist. I'm a big fan of those too. They have more modern features. They have the front cocking serrations. You can get it with a rail. It has, I believe, a factory magwell on it, ambi safety, things like that. You can also get it with an optics cut, but of course you can have a gun like this directly milled for an optic as well. I don't know what recoil spring this came with from the factory, but I did notice as soon as I got it from the seller that the slide was maybe too easy to rack. It felt extremely light, and I have a set of various weights of recoil springs. My set was actually missing, I believe it was the 16-pound spring, so I put the next heaviest spring in it, which is still a little bit lighter than I believe most 1911s come with, but compared to the spring that was in here before, whether it was stock or not, it feels heavier, and I do like the feel of it quite a bit. It's still very, very smooth. The slide fitment on here is very tight. Just overall, this whole gun is made extremely well. I believe that these guns originally came with some sort of walnut factory grips. These had some sort of black rubbery grips on here. I just wasn't a fan of them. When I first saw it in the picture, I knew that that was gonna be something I was gonna replace immediately. So these are VZ grips. They are the Larry Vickers grips. I didn't buy them just because they're Larry Vickers, although I do think Larry is awesome. I just like the look of these grips, honestly. It has the double checkers here. It has a much more aggressive texture than a stock grip, but they do consider this texture to be more of a mild, maybe a moderate grip texture. So it's not something super crazy, but I'm not shooting matches or anything crazy like this. I did purchase some of these Checkmate magazines. They're black to match the gun, and they have a little extended base plate on there, which is nice. The factory magazines, while they're chrome in appearance, they are also made by Checkmate, and they're dual marked with Wesson on the side of the magazine, and then it says Checkmate on the bottom of the base plate. Feature-wise, this is a very simple gun, but it is extremely well made. You don't have an ambi safety, you just have a little bit of the extended lever here on the side. So an A1 would have the little tiny stub. This is bigger than that, but it's not extended like I see on a lot of 1911s today. You have some Wesson branded sights. They also say Ameriglow on the side. The rear is blacked out. The front has a little tritium insert. It's kind of a skinny post, and white just really doesn't pick up super well in the daytime. So I really wish it had Trijicon HDs or something, but I don't know that I care enough to spend that much money on replacing the sights on here. I would probably opt for milling this gun directly for like a Trijicon SRO or something of that nature. I know I'm saying a lot of contrasting things here because I like the gun looking classic, but then I want to kind of modernize it, probably ruin it in some people's opinions. The slide of frame fitment is excellent on here. It's super smooth. Everything on this gun just super, super well made. I honestly don't have any complaints. So a lot of my videos, I try and shoot quite a bit of ammo through the gun before I talk about it because I want to give you a very honest, whether it's positive or negative experience about that firearm before you consider going out and purchasing one for yourself. That's not going to be the case here with this gun. These are more of my initial impressions of this gun. Again, this is more about, hey, I think 1911s are kind of cool. And I really like the idea of suppressing one, especially in 45 ACP, God's caliber, and the gun designed by John Moses Browning. Just think this is a really cool, really fun firearm. And whether it's a TSOS or whether it's an Atlas or something really Gucci, I think you should suppress a 1911, experience it, have some fun with it. We're gonna get into the shooting now, and that's gonna be it. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I haven't posted in a little while, haven't gone out here to shoot a whole lot lately. Last time I planned to come out here, I got really sick. So now we're in deer season, trying not to make a whole lot of noise out here. So I'm only gonna shoot this suppressed today so that I'm not spooking any deer. But I appreciate you guys that have subscribed for doing so. And if you have any questions, I do check all the comments. So drop a comment, leave any suggestions. I really appreciate those. And if you think this sucks and you want to tell me why, please tell me why. I appreciate constructive criticism too. This is a Rugged Obsidian 45, and you might see me switch back and forth between the long and the short configuration. This is long. If you guys have any interest in suppressors, I highly recommend checking out Pew Science. I've been listening to his podcast, but also if you just check out the website, he's a blast engineer, and we've gone so many years without having any actual data for silencers. But for me, as you can see, I'm now wearing these Ear Pro because, in my personal opinion, this isn't unbearably loud to shoot for a couple magazines. If I'm shooting any more than that, it is just a little bit loud, and I don't want to have any long-term hearing damage because I do enjoy shooting a lot. What's interesting is this particular suppressor, whether it's in the long or the short configuration at the shooter's ear, it sounds about the same. It's rated about the same in his testing. So to bystanders, the long configuration is gonna sound quieter. So on camera, this long configuration might sound a bit quieter than if I shoot this in the short. It's pretty nice group. It's really hard to shoot this gun accurately though, just because it's so fun. You just want to keep pulling the trigger on it. But yeah, check out Pew Science. I've emailed him, asked him some questions here and there, have no affiliation. Most of his data is just free to look at too. So I've been using it more and more to help me with my suppressor purchase decisions since they are not cheap. Just for fun, we're gonna do a couple reload drills here. So this magazine, whoops. This magazine has a couple of rounds. That was my fault, that wasn't the gun's fault. I shouldn't ride the slide. Vertex jeans are nice because they have these little magazine pockets, and I'll give myself a unfair advantage by having the magazine kind of out a little bit, ready to go. So, safety on. If we want, just with one chambered there. Man, I'm doing all kinds of weird stuff. Okay. So I honestly don't think I've ever done that before in my life with any gun before. I don't know if I somehow was able to over insert the magazine or if that round was already partially out. These are relatively new magazines. They aren't really broken in. So I don't know. That top round just like popped out when I inserted the magazine, so a little bit weird. Like I said, super easy to just burn through ammo when you only have 8 rounds per magazine. And this thing is so much fun to shoot. The sound, the recoil impulse, everything about this is so cool. I don't care what 1911 you get. 1911 is a classic US gun. Everyone at some point should own one, I think. If you ever have the opportunity, throw a suppressor on it. I don't care what suppressor it is. 45 suppresses pretty well. If you're just using 230 grain FMJ, I'm sure you can make it quieter with specialty ammo. But you can also make it louder if you use hollow points. But yeah, just kind of taking a page out of the book of administrative results. Not really a review or anything, just had something cool that I was excited about and thought I'd share it. I'm gonna look at my ammo inventory later and wonder where all my 45 went. This is where it went. Isn't it funny how you sometimes hear like a ricochet